let's talk about one of the trickiest situations you can face at work, a conflict of interest. It's not about being a bad person. It's about knowing how to navigate these complex, sometimes murky situations with total integrity. And over the next few minutes, we're going to give you a really clear playbook to do just that. All right, let's just jump right into it with a scenario. Imagine your really good friend's company is trying to land a big project. And guess who's in charge of picking the winner? You are. Now, this isn't some abstract problem from a textbook, right? This is a real-world dilemma that really tests that line between your personal and professional life. And that little feeling in your gut right now, that slight hesitation, that's your professional compass, your integrity, telling you there might be a problem here. And this is exactly why we need clear guidelines, not just to protect the company, but honestly, to protect your reputation and your career. Okay, so let's get on the same page and really nail down what we're talking about. What exactly is a conflict of interest? The simplest way to think about it is this. It's any situation where your personal interests could potentially cloud your professional judgment. Now notice that key word there, could. A bad decision doesn't even have to happen. The mere possibility, the potential for bias, is enough to create a real problem. Now, this is a really, really important distinction. You have an actual conflict, which is a direct, undeniable clash, but then you have a perceived conflict. And this one can be just as dangerous, because if a regular, reasonable person thinks your judgment might be swayed, well, that can destroy trust and damage reputations just as badly. You gotta handle both with care. So, where do these conflicts usually pop up? Let's take a look at the most common risk zones. Honestly, knowing where these things hide is half the battle. First up is the one that's usually the most obvious, money. We're talking about any situation where a decision you make at work could directly or even indirectly benefit your wallet. This could be something like owning stock in a supplier, or something much more serious, like using an inside tip to make a personal trade. Now, this is where things can get really tricky because it involves people we know and care about. Nepotism, favoring relatives, is a classic example. But it's also about things like romantic relationships with someone you manage, or even just picking a vendor because they're a friend, instead of because they're the best for the job. These relationships can create some powerful biases, even when we don't mean for them to. Even something that seems totally harmless, like a nice gift from a client or a vendor, can be an ethical minefield. The big question you have to ask yourself is, could this gift look like it's meant to influence my decisions? That appearance of impropriety is precisely why most companies have really strict policies on what you can and can't accept. Okay, so you've spotted a potential conflict. What do you do now? This next part is your game plan, your playbook for taking the right action every single time. This is all about being proactive, not reactive. This right here is the critical moment. The action you take next is what defines your integrity. It's what protects you, and it's what protects the organization. So what is that single most important first move? And here is that playbook broken down into 4 simple, clear steps. First, you have to identify it. Just acknowledge the situation to yourself. Then, step 2, and this is the big one, disclose it. Bring it out into the open. Transparency is your absolute best friend here. Step 3, seek guidance. You don't have to figure this out alone. And finally, if needed, step 4, recuse. That means removing yourself from the decision-making process completely. And the great thing is, disclosing doesn't mean you're on your own. Your company has specific channels just for this. You can start with your direct supervisor. But hey, if that doesn't feel right for whatever reason, you have options. HR, a compliance officer, or even an anonymous ethics hotline. They're all there to help you do the right thing. And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? Disclosing a potential conflict isn't about getting in trouble. It's the exact opposite. It's about maintaining trust and ensuring accountability. When you bring things into the light, you protect your own integrity and you let the company manage the situation the right way. Okay, for our last section, let's zoom out a little bit, because this isn't just about one person making one decision in a vacuum. Building a culture of integrity, well, that's a team sport. What we're aiming for is what's called a speak-up culture. And really, all that means is creating a workplace where everyone feels psychologically safe to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm not sure about this, without any fear of being punished or shamed for it. This is how we catch problems early and solve them openly. And let me be absolutely crystal clear on this point. When you raise a concern in good faith, you are protected. Your company has strict anti-retaliation policies for sure, but it goes way beyond that. There are actual U.S. federal laws designed to shield you. These aren't just suggestions. They are powerful, real-world safeguards designed to protect you. At the end of the day, all of this comes down to one simple word: Trust. Your commitment to doing the right thing, to identifying conflicts, disclosing them, speaking up, that's what builds the company's reputation, the trust of our clients, and maybe most importantly, your own personal and professional integrity. So we'll leave you with this one question to think about. The next time you find yourself in one of those ethical gray areas, what's going to be your compass? Because the choice you make in that moment doesn't just define you, it helps define the culture that all of us share.